闺女啊，妈挺想你的。听说你来这个寺庙了，我过来看看，找找你，看看你在没在。闺女啊，哎呀，妈真的很想你。
When I moved back from college, I lived with them for about 7 months. And I really wanted to be by myself. I didn't, I was already in the mindset of I want to go and chase my life alone now for a little bit. It was of course really tough when I told them, I want to drop out of college. For me it was tough because I thought, what a loser move to do, you're seen as a college dropout. And for them it was so tough because they're immigrants. They came here with nothing in their pocket. They worked so hard so that we could go to school and have a better opportunity, and then I felt like I wasted all of that.
你干什么事儿也不能不要妈呀，对吧？谁没有妈呀？我现在马上就要进这个天宁寺了，我进去看看有没有你。你好，我问点事儿。
你说。
哎呀，我有个闺女，就是那个也是剃发了，原来她是短发，后来也是剃发了。她看看她在没在这儿？
叫什么？
她叫王静。
王静没有叫王静的。
这儿没有啊？
没有。
你们这儿一共有几个人呢？
我们这里一共20来人。
哦，没有这人啊。
没有这个人。
38岁，但是我们原来在天津住过一段，他考到这个北京的中医药大学，上了3年班了。
没，就是没这个名字。
哦。好嘞，谢谢您，麻烦您了啊。哎呀。
We had a very long talk, the three of us, about me going out there. It was a tough conversation to have, just because it was such a 180 from where I was going, My mom was heartbroken because, her kids finally leaving, and my dad was more just kind of skeptical for a long time. He probably still is, but he's very rigid, very old school. He didn't want me to go because he's like, you don't know anybody out there. There's no chance of success. At the time, he was really skeptical and was trying to convince me, not necessarily not to go, just don't go right now. Wait a few more years, get some stuff under your feet before you go. One of my mom's biggest fears was like, she would wake up and she worries about so many things, and there was so many nights she would cry to me. I was like, I don't want you to end up homeless on the street or whatever, or go hungry. And I'm like, I don't think that's gonna happen. She's, you never know. I'm like, you're right, but that's what are you gonna do? If it happens, it happens. So there was a part of me for a while that I wanted to stay in Iowa, and I almost contemplated the idea of, family to me is the most important thing, and it's tough to leave, your mom, dad, sister behind. But at the end of the day, I said, if I fail, I fail, but I'm gonna go out in there and try. And I always knew I didn't want to have a normal life of 9 to 5, Monday through Friday. Nothing wrong with that. Just for me personally, I knew I never wanted that.
妈岁数越来越大了，身体毛病越来越多。你说这么多年了，妈多辛苦啊，这腿也疼得厉害。我想过一阵儿去医院看看，你回来陪我一阵儿，好不好？妈就你这么一个孩子，是不是？你也算是一个顶梁柱了，所以呢，家里的事儿你也得操心。肯定需要你。
I think at first it was hard for them, having any kid leave home is tough. But I think it's made them more independent. They always lived their lives for their kids, and now that their kids are gone, school in LA, what do they live their lives for now? And they themselves as a couple have gotten so much closer over these last year and a half. They get to kind of live their life and do whatever they want to do. They're going out and doing picnics and dates again, and they're living like young people, which is great to see. I would rather them be happy that I'm gone than be miserable that me and my sister are not home,
几个房间都没有你，你到底在哪儿？上次我看见你，心里别提多难受了。但是你还是坚持你自己的思想，你是不是着迷了？我还想让你把头发留起来，那样才像女孩。妈妈还想给你梳头。
Told them, I was like, I would love your blessing, and love your guys' support, but if you can't give me that, I'm still going to go regardless. And it's one of those things when your heart's set on it, it's set, and you kind of have to go and do it. And there's nobody in the world that could say anything to you that could convince you otherwise. So there wasn't as much convincing. It was just kind of, hey, this time next year I'm leaving. And it's not like a 1 month, 2 month trip. I'm going there to make something out of myself, and I might not come back for 6 months, a year. I can't wait. I'm young. I gave up a life of security, but I followed my heart, what I wanted to do, and I knew in my heart if I gave all this stuff up and did a job that I really didn't love, I'd never forgive myself, and I would hate myself for the rest of my life. I believe you only have one life, so you ought to, try, and if you fail, you fail, but at least you could say, that you gave a pretty good attempt.
闺女啊，你想起你小时候老闹着吃那个红汤面，奶奶老给你煮，再加一鸡蛋，特别好吃，是吧？还有扁豆馅饺子，冬天多贵呀！唉，闺女，你过一阵儿就回家看看妈，给你做点最想吃的饭。你在外边吃不到妈妈做的味道，是吧？你做点炸酱面呀、茴香馅饺子、红烧肉，都是你爱吃的。
My mom, it's still hard for her now. She loves having me home. She likes fattening me and my sister up when we come back, and I like being fattened up, to be fair. I'm going home in a few weeks anyway to go visit them, and for us it's always been important to stay in touch with each other. I call mom and dad pretty much every chance. It's at least once a day. It's a lot of just long distance phone calls and FaceTimes and text messages that I love you or this and that, which anybody that has a significant other or parents that live far away, you can kind of relate to that.
你为什么不回家呢？你怎么不回家呢？你知道妈想你吗？有的时候，妈给你清蒸一条黄鱼，你爱吃的。可是你不在，
The time that I lived at home briefly, I loved it. It was great. I had a job and I would come home and we'd all eat dinner together, and it was something that I hadn't had in a while and something that I really grew to love. And that was something that was really pulling me away. For a time I was like, I don't really mind working full time and being home, and I'll get a place close by and we can all be together. But I think as that kind of thought crept in, it was slowly getting pushed out because I was like, no, this isn't what you want. It's a tough decision, but you have to go. And it was my mom who I remember we had a conversation, me and her. You know, she told me, she's like, you have to go now, you gotta leave us. You know, we don't wanna be the anchor holding you down, and then when you're 40, you know, you live a life of regret saying, you know, that you guys held me back or you guys made me stay with you. She was so adamant that I went, and you know, she said, no matter what happens, you know, we're gonna be behind you, but we don't want you to stay for us. We want you to go for you. And I was like, okay, and when she said that, I think that was pretty much it. I was okay. I have their support, and there's no reason to stay here now at this point.
妈经常想起你以前的事儿。你像你小的时候，上学之前打那个乒乓球，哈，哎呀，打得可棒了，什么削球啦，什么，哎呀，我都说不上来。完了，后来长大一点，围着咱家那个楼转圈的跑。开始妈还陪着你跑，后来妈跑不动了，就站在楼门口等着你跑。后来等上中学了，你还在坚持这个好的习惯，然后学校的老师都知道有个同学在围着学校跑。知道当妈的感受吗？妈可想你了，你一定要回来看看妈啊！妈在找你，不知道你在哪儿。
They're always there, and I hope that's how everybody's parents are. I know it's not the case, but I got lucky with two of mine, man, because they're really helpful, even though I kind of went against their wishes initially with the whole college thing. They didn't turn rotten on me. They want to help me still, you know, survive out here, and they're always there to give me advice. So I think the older that I got, the more I realized how right they are about a lot of things that they told me when I was younger. I think they know what they're talking about at this point, you know, so if they're telling me something, it's not that they want to hold me back. It's just they're looking out for me.